Hi everybody, I'm Miss Cooksey and today we're going to talk about circles and circumference. So we have this awesome circle diagram right here and we're going to go through all of the parts of the circle. So the first part of the circle that we're going to talk about is the center. So the center of the circle is this point right here in the middle, and it's the point that's equidistant or the same distance from each point on the circle. So every single point along the edge of the circle is the same distance away from the center. The next part of the circle we'll talk about is the radius. So radius is probably a word we're familiar with from other math classes. It's the segment that goes from the center to a point on the circle. So the radius is halfway across the circle. It always starts at the center and goes to a point along the circle. The other thing that's important to know about the radius is that it is half of the diameter. What's the diameter, you ask? That's our next word. The diameter is the segment that passes through the center of the circle, connecting two major points on the circle. So, in layman's terms, it's a straight line straight through the circle. That is a diameter. It is twice the radius, and the radius is half the diameter. Straight line going straight through the circle. Last but not least, and this might be a word you're not as familiar with, we have a chord. A chord is a segment that connects 2 points on the circle, but it does not necessarily need to go through the center. So a chord can go through any 2 points on the circle as long as they are connected. Next, we're going to talk about the parts on the outside of the circle. So these were all the important parts on the inside. Now we're going to talk about parts on the outside of the circle. So the parts on the outside we're going to focus on are arcs. So a whole circle is 360 degrees. Pieces of that outside component, let me use a pen, pieces of the outside component, so like from here to here, are called arcs. And there's different kinds of arcs, so we're going to go through the 3 different kinds. The first kind of arc that we're going to talk about is a minor arc. So a minor arc is when the measure of the arc is less than 180 degrees, and the measure of this arc is going to be equal to its central angle. So here is our arc in this example. The arc goes from B to C, and it's equal to the central angle. So from B to C, it's going to be equal to the angle that makes up the arc. So if angle BAC is 135 degrees, then the measure of arc BC is 135 degrees. We use this little rainbow symbol above the points to name the arc. Minor arcs that are less than 180 can be named with 2 points. But when we look at other arcs, you'll notice that they're named with 3 points. That shows which direction around the circle we go. So we'll start with minor arc, and let's actually go over to major arc. So a major arc is the opposite of a minor arc. So if a minor arc is less than 180 degrees, a major arc is greater than 180 degrees. So this time our arc goes around the circle, and it's connected to the central, it's equal to its central angle, but this time its central angle is larger than an obtuse angle. It's larger than a straight angle. It's bigger than 180 degrees. To figure out the measure of this angle, we're going to take the whole circle, which is 360 degrees, subtract this smaller arc, which is 135, and we get the measure of arc BCD is 225 degrees. Notice that we named this arc using 3 points. So while this was just arc BC, this is arc BCD. That's because arc BD would be the smaller arc, and we need to show that we go all the way around the outside. So we have an arc that's less than 180. We have an arc that's greater than 180. Next, we're going to have an arc that is equal to 180. That is called a semicircle. So a semicircle has a measure that is equal to 180 degrees, and it's equal to its central angle because its central angle is a diameter. So notice the central angle goes straight across here. It's a diameter. We know that straight angles are 180 degrees, so this arc is 180 degrees. Last but not least in our notes, we're going to talk about circumference. There are 2 formulas to find the circumference. The circumference is the outside of a circle. The first formula to find circumference is circumference equals pi times diameter. We know that diameter is equal to twice the radius, so the second formula is circumference equals 2 times pi times radius, because diameter is 2r. We choose which formula we use depending on what information is given. So for example, in this problem, we're given that the diameter is 3 centimeters. So we're going to use the formula that uses diameter. So c equals pi times d, c equals pi times 3, which means the circumference is 3 pi centimeters. Sometimes you'll see that the answer is written as 3 pi. Sometimes you'll see that the answer is written as a decimal. It can go either way. Always ask your teacher to see what they're looking for and make sure that you can recognize both on a multiple choice question. In this next example, we're giving a radius that's 3 centimeters. So we're going to use our radius formula. Circumference equals 2 pi r. Our radius is 3. So circumference equals 2 times pi times 3, which means our circumference is 6 pi centimeters. So in this video, we learned what circumference is. We learned about the 3 different kinds of arcs in a circle, and we learned that a circle has 360 degrees total. We also learned the different parts of a circle, including the center, diameter, radius, and a chord. Thanks for watching. I hope this video is helpful. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. I'll see you next time.